Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us for our third episode of our podcast. Joined here, I have Ricardo Acevedo.
Good morning, guys. Thank you again for joining in. Very excited to be here again with all of you guys.
We've gone over a couple of the topics already behind the scenes, and I'm excited for this episode.
So do I.
I think there's gonna be a lot of value going on. So, hey, you ready to go right into it?
Absolutely, man. We're ready.
Alrighty. So, the first thing I want to get into is I don't know if you heard this. Overall, the stock market has rebounded quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there was an article that I read about Robinhood, which is a relatively newer brokerage for stock trading, and it's free and it's really easy to get into. And they had, I think, what did they say? 3 million new users this year.
Wow.
Particularly when the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And like you were saying in the last episode, there's opportunity in so many different ways.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if you may or may not be in the stock market, but I'm more excited for the fact that the average age of the Robinhood users that signed up is 31. It's pretty young, actually.
Oh yeah,
Millennials.
It's a great age.
Yeah.
Great starting age for sure.
So I want to pick your brain on this. What's your investment strategy? How have you set yourself up in your portfolio so that you and Sandra and your family would be comfortable 10, 15, 20 years down the line?
Yeah, so I'm not a stock guy. I keep a little bit of an eye on what the stock is doing because I know that reflects a lot in the real estate industry as well. I'm just a big real estate guy. I'm not a stock guy, but when it comes to our investment strategy, Sandra and I were very smart, I believe, with the way we handled our money since the beginning. We started doing really well in real estate, selling a lot of homes, just doing a lot of deals. And we were very smart on our investment strategies, putting money right back into real estate. We started buying properties to hold. So we cash flow on a lot of property that we currently own that we bought years ago, and that we were able to, put our income and kind of the word that it keeps in mind is it's staying broke. We're the type of people we like to, as money comes in, as a company generates money, and as our cash flow comes in from our rental properties and our investments, we reinvest our money right back into real estate, whether it's rental properties or whether it's flip properties. But we're always staying broke, putting money out, getting money to work on our behalf. So at the beginning, we worked hard to create money. And then as we started to make some money, we started reinvesting back into business, into real estate itself. And we allowed real estate now to create money on our behalf.
Staying broke. That's a huge takeaway. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
So
you'll hear it from people that are always broke because they're as money comes in, man, it just goes out. Your ultimate goal is not to have a lot of money in your bank account. It's having all your money out. Because if you have your money out, that means you're making money in most of the cases. So we want to stay broke and keep our money coming in but coming out, so it's reciprocating, and obviously we're cash flowing.
Wow. I think I'll tell you, I'm pretty guilty of this too. I'm in my 20s, as you know. I've gotten better at investment for the last 3-5 years now, but I think when I was in my early 20s, I had such an ego about having a huge amount of money in my bank account.
Right.
I would even screenshot it and show my friends, like, hey guys, look. And I was like, looking back, I'm like, man, money needs to work for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great feeling. Don't get me wrong. It's when you're building yourself up and you see, an amount of money in your bank account that you've never seen. And it was kind of your goal, right? To get to that point. It's a great feeling. But hopefully you get over that feeling fast and you get the money out, you invest it, and now allow that money to build for you. Now the money is working for you. So, we've been big on understanding is, we work hard for money. Now we're trying to be smarter now, allowing money to work on our behalf so that we can obviously reciprocate and we can multiply and allow money to work on our behalf based on the cash flow investments that we have.
So let me pick your brain on behalf of not just the audience, actually myself as well.
Sure.
So what would your advice be, whether they're young or not, for someone that's making money? Like, what's their step? What's their first step? Do they talk to their CPA? Like, I'm assuming there's ways to structure it right on the back end.
Right.
So from S corps, LLCs, and so
Correct.
forth. It sounds like to me the overall arcing idea is make your money work for you.
Right.
So let's say I'm making money and I have it sitting in my bank account and I just don't know what to do. and I don't want to put all in the stock market or in one particular place. I want to diversify. And I've heard great things about real estate, as you know, like you're in cash flow, like you were mentioning. What would be my first step?
Well, again, figure out what you want to do first, right? Because
Okay.
if you have different angles or different avenues that you're interested in, first you got to figure it out, what you want to do.
Okay.
And based on deciding, let's say you decide to go into real estate and invest your money in real estate, then you got to find people that know what they're doing, people that are currently doing it, and people that has done it, a coach or a mentor that is now going to help you through the investment venue so that you're able to now create a game plan and obviously now have a way to invest your money.
Got it. So if I'm in a position, go on social media, reach out to other, and I think, realtor/realtor investors, right? Because I'm assuming a realtor can probably help me, especially a knowledgeable one can help me with a lot of what you're talking about.
As someone that has the experience with investments, because you have your typical real estate agent that is just out there selling homes, which that's what a regular real estate agent does. And there's more of those seasoned that have the experience from not only selling real estate, but also that have had an experience with building portfolios, investments, and things of that nature that are going to be able to guide you in the best direction possible so that you can get yourself started.
Got it. So write to them saying, hey, I want to build an investment portfolio. Do you have experience in this field?
Correct.
And then let them, putting yourself in that environment, let them sort of teach you or put you in the right resources and steps.
Yes, sir.
To get you in the right place.
That is correct.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, I think the biggest takeaway from that, guys, is I've never heard that term. Stay broke.
But think about it though.
Yeah.
Okay. Think about it. If you really, really understand it, staying broke, it's basically being able to know, okay, yes, we're generating money, but at the same time, we're reinvesting money back. We're putting it all back out there so that we're allowing it to multiply on our behalf and not be afraid to stay broke. And it's actually better because that keeps you away from spending the money on things that you shouldn't spend the money on. Because the more money you have in your bank account that is non-usable money, the more you start making the wrong decisions on putting it where you shouldn't be putting it.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay, I think that's a huge takeaway. I'm going to make a ton of clips on that and send it out. That's awesome. So let's go right into the next topic. So the next topic is just the market, man. So I put it up. I saw on your Facebook, you saw a comment. It was something like, 3 months ago, no one would have thought we'd have the market today of so many buyers.
Right.
And I think I saw a comment saying that I have 9 buyers and not enough listings for them.
Yeah.
9 buyers from one
agent.
One agent.
Yeah, I know her. She just purchased one of our listings a couple of months ago. So
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you take of this?
It's a crazy good market. What do I take from it is it's as a realtor, as a big time listing agent that always has inventory. I always deal with buyers and sellers. My take from this as a general advice to our realtor community is it's now more than ever, we need to be really well educated on what we do. Why? Because there is an abundance amount of buyers, but there's not enough inventory for those buyers. So it's a great thing, but at the same time is a bad thing because some of these agents are getting very frustrated because they're not getting any offer accepted. So what I mean is, I tell my agents and even myself, because I've been through this transition and this lapse of window of situation in our marketplace where I've experienced this before already, and I've already done it. I've navigated through it. I've adjusted so that I can still successfully get my buyers through this time frame, because it gets very frustrating because they're going out, they're making offers, they're not getting accepted. So either A, they can give up on the process, or B, they can stick to it and figure out a game plan to be able to be successful. So with that said, it's, realtors need to be really sharp on what they're doing, understanding comparables for the area, understanding and educating the clients on what they need to do to write up a successful offer, relationships, how well you present, how well you connect with the listing agent, how well you prepared your offer so you're going to place your offer in a good position to succeed despite the fact that you're competing with 10, 15 other offers. Wow. It's how you're going to set yourself apart from the group, right? It's how do you get yourself in a better position? And it all adds up to everything that you're going to do to prepare to put yourself and your client in the best position possible.
Wow. What could you give any specific tips? Because we talked about having a better relationship with the listing agent, better educating your client. Do you have any specific tips that you personally maybe have done when you went through this same period of time? What's something that you maybe committed to or specifically did to help your approval rate for offers go up?
Most importantly is I would run my comparables. We would run data with the client, because a lot of times we're looking at listings and we're just making an offer. We know there's 10 offers, 5 offers, 7 offers, or whatever the case might be if we're doing our due diligence. So what I do is I run my comparables, I analyze them with the client, and then I prepare them to let them know, hey, we got to look at data, because what it's listed for doesn't mean it's what it's going to sell for specifically in today's market based on the activity level that we have. So we analyze data, we educate the client to be able to make an offer that is going to be strongly competitive based on the data of closed comparables, listed and pending listings within the area, and then establish a good relationship with the real estate listing agent that has the property. Pick up the phone and call them. Try to get some feedback. Hey, where you're at, is there any feedback? Is there anything you're looking for that I can make my offer stronger when presenting to your sellers? Write a letter. We just got an offer accepted last week that it wasn't even the strongest offer, but the real estate listing agent that had the property, it was one of our buyers. It was a contingent buyer who was selling a home. Not even the best case scenario, because she was selling a home. We were buying their listing. We were competing with multiple offers, and they took our offer because the letter moved the seller, that the story from our clients and the purpose as to why they wanted that home moved the seller to be able to make the decision towards accepting the offer from our client. And we were not the strongest. We were competitive, but yet we were contingent, and we still made it happen. Now, obviously, it's been years of reputation, and our team and our company has a strong name, built reputation in the industry, which allows us to have a really good, strong background when presenting. But if you're a new agent, I was there too. Yeah. You have to start building that reputation for your name itself based off of your performance and based on how well you prepared yourself to present your offer, how good you structure your offer. Because as a listing agent, seeing an offer and how it's prepared, how it's documented, you can tell right off the bat if you want to work with that agent or not. On how well prepared that offer is, or how weak the preparation of that offer was.
Wow. 2 observations for sure based on what you said. I think the first observation is, for people even outside the real estate industry, I think a lot of the times they think it's listing agent versus buyer's agent. And I don't think that's the case, right? It's more of they have to work together.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
It's a teamwork. We all have to be in the same page. Listing agent wants to work with a good buyer's agent so that the transaction flows very easy, very fluent, and both ends feel very good about each other. And then now you got a transaction that we both feel that the deal is going to go very smooth for our buyers and for our sellers, where we're not going to have to go through, obviously, difficult transactions.
Yeah.
Our transactions are not that easy to begin with. So we want to try to do our homework as best as possible so that when we do go into escrow, we have a smoother process based on who we're going to be dealing on the other side.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, which is the both parties want to feel like it's a smooth transaction.
Yeah.
It could be, and it should be a win-win.
Yes.
Right? And so like you were saying, like both parties need to work well together. And that brought me to my second observation, which is communication.
Very important.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Talk to the listing agent.
Zoom call.
Something.
Yeah.
Send them a video. If they don't know you, introduce yourself. Believe me, you're going to earn respect from someone just by doing that extra, right? Are you doing what everybody else is doing, or are you willing to do the extra work to try to go on and beyond that is going to make a difference, that you're going to impact the other person on the other side, where you're going to create some sort of awareness and they're going to pay a little more attention to you because you did something, a little video, again, a call. And if they don't pick up, do something to communicate via Messenger, via Facebook. I get people right now, man, because we always carry a lot of listings. So agents are trying to get through me in so many different ways. And it's exciting to see that, because it reminds it reminds me of my beginnings
Yeah.
because I was that guy. I was willing to do whatever it took to try to get through that listing agent so that I could say, hey, man, it's me. It's my offer in there. How can I make it stand out? How can I put myself and my buyer in the best position so that you can consider us? And that's how I started working my ways up and start building a name and a reputation in the industry until we became obviously a well-known, established company name, and it has given us a very strong weight, especially right now in these days. It's very important who you work with. It's going to make a big difference on your outcome, on the success you're going to have, whether you're a buyer or whether you're a seller. You have to put yourself with the right people that is going to put you in the right direction to succeed.
Wow. So I want to put like a little, tie a little knot on this because, man, that was wow. Like, first off, let me just congratulate. That was amazing information. So if you're watching, you're listening, I'm going to try to tie a knot for this so that it can be a little summer on the communication part. So essentially, get a hold of a listing agent in so many different platforms like you were mentioning.
Yes.
Hit them on Facebook, on Instagram, text them, video message them. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
Such a simple, hey, but talking. I want to introduce myself. My name is Seth. I'm a buyer's agent representing my client's name, so forth, so forth. It'd be a pleasure to meet with you. Please let me know how I can make my offer stronger or so forth.
Right.
And you're saying the majority of listing agents would be more than happy to give information.
You know what? It makes a difference. Not to everybody, but it does. You got to understand if that listing agent has 20 offers or 15 offers and they're just coming in and it's just another email in the inbox. But if you're not that guy or that agent or that person, which is basically representing that buyer, doing something to try to stand out outside of your terms of your offer, because obviously that's not going to just make it happen. You still have to be competitive in your terms. But if you do that extra, believe me, it's going to stand out.
Wow.
It's going to stand out where if your offer is within that playing range and you're competitive within the top, believe me, it's going to, in a way, impact your offer where at least you're going to get some more, awareness, and you're probably going to put yourself in a better position to succeed and be able to get maybe some internal feedback where you can put yourself in the front driver's seat.
Wow.
So, just do the extra stuff, guys. Don't just go out and make the offer and not do anything extra and just wait until you get a response. Try to do something extra that's going to put you with more exposure in front of whoever you're trying to expose yourself to.
Being proactive.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Well, hey, that was amazing. I want to go into the next part of our piece here, which is our word association. And this is actually going to lead me into where I want this conversation to go. So the one word today that I want to cover is family. What goes through your mind? What do you hear when you think family? What, is it motivation? What is it?
For me, it's the core of everything. Family, it's the core of my purpose of being. In a sense, it's my core foundation of me wanting to be that best version of me on a day-to-day basis. Family, it's everything. Without a strong foundational family core, then I wouldn't be able to function to my best of my ability. So for me, family is everything, man. If I go back to my beginnings, my wife, my kids were the biggest main motivators for me, and what obviously dragged the best out of me to get up every single day, because I had a purpose to go out and succeed in life because they depended on me. Their future and their success was dependent on me. So it was my responsibility, and it's basically what, even now today, man, it's what moves me personally, to continue to just elevate my games in all aspects of life, because I want to be the best version of me so that I can bring it back into the core of my family.
I see. Wow. That really brings me to where I wanted to go. I think the majority of audience members, including myself, know that you have a very strong relationship with Sandra. And I'm in my 20s, and I think a lot of viewers are, whether they're single or married, but especially the younger viewers, I think we want to know, how do you pick a partner? Like, this is such a big question, I guess, but it's like, how do you pick a strong partner? What's the importance of having a strong life partner? What do you think?
Obviously, at the beginning of a relationship, you're always just thinking of finding someone you love, right? Someone that you connect with, someone that you fall in love with because of that person connecting with you to levels of obviously moving each other, to finding love as far as understanding each other and how you fall in love with somebody. But obviously you get to understand it's more than that, right? Because everybody, well, each one of them has their own game plan and their own goals in life. And and when it comes down to me personally with Sandra, ever since we were dating as young kids at 18 years of age, we both had the same drive. We both had the same ambitions as far as just personal growth, creating a different lifestyle for our new generation to come. So when you obviously are searching, let's say you personally or someone of your age or someone that is looking for that person, that other half, you have to look at somebody, man, that has the same alignment as you do. You can't be that guy who's looking to be mature, want to grow in business, want to grow in life, and you're looking to succeed in life, with through fundamentals of discipline, attitude, just drive, and having good habits towards life, and obviously and towards success in life. And if you don't find the right half that is going to be within the same mentality as you do, then it's not going to work, because you're going to want to pull one direction, she's going to pull you over to the other direction, and it's not going to work. Two different mindsets, two different end goal plans, and it's just not gonna work.
I guess a more personal question is, like, when did you know Sandra was the one?
Ever since I started dating her.
Yeah.
She was just a young, mature woman that knew what she wanted out of life. She wanted a family. But most importantly, outside of that, she wanted a good core foundation with good principles. And at the same time, she wanted to make a difference. And she wanted to make a difference in her family and her generation to come. She wanted to be different. And when I mean different, she was ready to make a difference and an impact on her family so that her new generations will become even better than the environment she was living in. And I was that same young guy. We both were like, hey, we're going to have a large family. We're going to work really hard, and we're going to change our new generations to come. We're going to create wealth, but wealth in all aspects, not just wealth financially. We want to create wealth of opportunity. Allow our kids and our generations to come to understand that there's so much opportunity out there, that you cannot just live a life with just limitations, but opportunities, opportunities to grow and to create as much as you want to create, depending on how disciplined and how well you plan yourself to become obviously better than your generation before.
Tell me, because again, I know you and Sandra have such a strong relationship. How has that trickled into other parts of your life? Maybe your kids, your business, your physical health. Where, I guess my question is there a source or a foundation that's created from having that strong relationship?
Yes, because I think it was family, it was business, it was our spiritual core, which is our principles as a family. Everything tied in. Everything tied in because we wanted to make a difference and be able to impact our own families, to be able to grow and teach them and make them aware that there's opportunities to build a different lifestyle outside of what we've seen to be norm within our surroundings. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could see my mom, I could see my uncles, my cousins, and just our entire family around us. And obviously, knowing that we have an opportunity to impact them as well, to obviously show them awareness that there is more opportunity out there, as long as we believe on it, as long as we know it's obtainable, and as long as we could see someone close enough to us that has accomplished it. Now it brings awareness to the entire surrounding of family sphere, that if they did it or they're doing it, it's possible for us
It feels
too.
it feels real now.
It feels attainable.
Yeah.
You know, you see people that has done big things that have accomplished more things that we have. And a lot of the times we know it's possible, but deep inside of us, we think that's not for me. It's probably never going to happen to me. But that's wrong. It's you have to understand that it's there. It's attainable. It's just, you got to go out and get it. You got to plan yourself. You got to educate yourself, and you got to understand that it is possible. You just have to go and get it based on having the commitment, the discipline, and everything behind it to obtain it.
Wow. I guess my question would be then is, because you have obviously those who are in a relationship or married or, have a spouse, whatnot already. And then you have people like me who unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but are still single and, in the search. What would your advice be to those? We'll ask two questions. The first advice would be for people like me who are single. Should we put it on a high priority list to find a life partner? Because it sounds like from what you're saying, there was great improvement. There's a great wealth of fulfillment by having a significant other. So what would your advice be to someone like me?
Well, you mentioned it's if that is your priority and if that is what's important to you, because you already know what you want. You're not that young guy that still wants to have fun and just party and just enjoy life outside of trying to build wealth for yourself and wealth in all aspects. Then yes, that's got to be your core, is finding someone that shares the same thoughts and ideas than you do, because now you got two people fighting for the same dream.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's a team effort now. It's not only Seth, you trying to accomplish it. Now you have a partner, and that partner has the same principles, the same drive. See, if you think about Ricardo, you got to think of Sandra as well, because Sandra and I were a team since the beginning. Ricardo cannot be Ricardo without Sandra, because Ricardo could have been a different Ricardo now without Sandra being my teammate and my team, because we were both basically batting and fighting for the same dream. So it's basically a combination of a team, working towards the same dream and the same purpose. She has my back, and she had my back so that I could go out and do things that I needed to do, that if she wasn't there, it would have helped me from being able to accomplish certain things. So because she understood, and we were on the same path for the same dream, and we both have to grow together, because if I grow and if she doesn't, then we start having disconnections, because I think one way, she thinks another. Now we start splitting. We have to be growing together, because we're both understanding where we're going in life, and that's how we keep together, and that's how we keep growing together.
Wow. So that's a great thing, I think, that you mentioned, which is basically know yourself, like you were saying. Know yourself, know what you want.
Yes.
And then from there, put it on the priority list of work.
And then, you know what? And you taught, and you also mentioned me not having someone, but those that do. And those that do, my recommendation would be is you gotta get your other half in line. You gotta share your thoughts. You gotta share your dreams, even if that person is not in line. It's your responsibility to be able to continue to present your ideas, your thoughts, and your dreams. Because I've been approached by people that ask me, hey, but I want to do this and I want to do that, and I think I cannot grow and I cannot go any further because my other half stops me from doing this. And I say, well, you need to get her involved, or you need to get him more involved.
Wow.
So that you can get them in the right direction, so that they can understand you, so that they can support you, that there's a purpose and as there's a dream and there's a plan behind what you're trying to accomplish.
Wow.
But she's not willing to listen, or he's not willing to listen. Well, then you need to keep trying, and you need to keep trying. And by your act, and by the way you conduct yourself, and by the way you keep putting it in front of their face, eventually
they're going to catch.
It's going to have to happen, because the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish, if it's for the right thing and it's for the family, she or him is going to understand it's what's best for everybody. So you're going to get that person lined up with you. Now we have a team effort towards that dream as a family.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think, holy moly, like, that's huge, because you hear it, right? Like, you hear significant others, unfortunately not getting along or not on the same path. And you're saying you've got to keep trying.
You have to. Even me, man. There's some ideas that Sandra is not with me, but I keep insisting
Keep
and
trying.
insisting until she's like, okay. Again, I tell her, it's for the benefit of all of us.
The bigger picture.
Do you see what I'm saying? If I'm doing something, it's because it's going to benefit us all. It's not something that I'm doing to benefit me personally. If I'm doing something, it's going to benefit the entire family. I'm not doing it to harm, obviously, in any way. I'm doing it for all of us. And if she's not on the page in certain things, eventually I figure out a way to get her to line up and to play ball with me and be with me and support the idea, and vice versa. I get her, she brings me ideas. I might not be on the same page, but then I realize, hey, I got to support her.
Wow.
And we are going to fail along the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to fail. She's going to fail along the way on her ideas and on my ideas. And we have to back each other up instead of going and saying, hey, see, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, you know what? Don't worry. It's going to happen. Let's go do it again.
Wow.
Encourage her to go out and do it. If it's her dream, encourage her. It's going to be okay. You failed. That's not a problem. Let's go out and do it again. What did we learn from that experience? And before it was different. And then again, it's part of the growth process, right? It's basically not judging someone, but empowering that somebody so that you can give them an opportunity to go out and do it again versus stopping from trying to do what they're trying to build, which is something that it's something that they're trying to build and they're trying to create.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not married, but I can tell you just from having family, it feels so good when you have someone at your corner,
Of course.
So what you're saying just makes total sense. If they're not at your corner yet, or maybe they're not aligned yet, keep trying, because once they are, everything's just going to get better.
And you know what? If they see you doing it, and it's, if they see that you are trying and not pushing the fact that you got to do this, is if you're just that person that just understands that just by doing it and setting the example, at some point, they're going to line up with you. Instead of forcing and pushing and shoving the idea, you're going to present it, and then you're going to keep doing it until it just becomes something like, okay, I'm in it with you. Let's go. I know you want it. It's part of what you're doing. I'm going to support you. Let's go and do it together.
Yeah, it just feels so much more earnest.
That is correct. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm speechless, because this episode, by the way, please leave comments, you guys. This has been amazing so far.
And I think we can dig a lot deeper, like into that couple, relationship, because we've learned a whole lot. And I know we can discuss that on a different podcast, but it's been a lot of learning experience for sure.
Yeah. You know what? I think it sounds like we're going to have to do a special edition of this episode eventually.
Yeah.
With just the entirety of the relationship.
And then I'll bring Sandra on that podcast.
Yeah, there we go. That'd be great.
So that she can share with us on that one.
I would love to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move on to our final topic, and that's going to be physical health. So coronavirus had lockdown for 2.5, 3 months. I know people, that unfortunately fell off their physical health train.
Yeah.
And there's also those who just haven't embarked on it yet. We talked about a push-up challenge last podcast. And I've personally seen messages from your friends and even colleagues of mine that were thankful for being able to participate in this challenge. They're saying that they've developed a good physical health habit.
Yeah.
You and I are both into physical fitness. I train every morning. You train even earlier every morning. What's your advice for those? I guess the first thing would be is, how important is physical health to your life, on your personal life, business, and so forth? And what would your advice be to listeners who haven't just had it dialed in just yet?
I think it's a huge part of my life, and for me, physical fitness, spiritual fitness, which is my connection with God, and then my intake, which is basically my, the way I eat. It's just a core combination of what makes me now. And when I mean how important it is, it's everything. It's my daily preparation towards having a successful day. Mm-hmm. If I don't train and if I don't eat well, then I'm not well. That means Ricardo's not his Ricardo normal being of what I want to be. So for me is the most important thing. And obviously I realized this years ago, and it hasn't been my entire life. Obviously I didn't understand years back ago on how important my intake health was until I got to a point where I started realizing I got to do something about my physical fitness, and I got to start doing something about it so that I can obviously feel better about myself. Because I was younger. I've always been very energetic, very active. I've always been very physically active, but it got to a point where, I was definitely out of shape for many years, and trying to battle that portion there until it just triggered me that I really needed to do something about it. And it has become a very important part of my life because it has made me a different person, in so many different aspects, from the way I feel, from the way I conduct myself, from the way I handle my emotions, from the way I focus in business, from the way I have more patience with the way I react to situations. There's been so many different things, man, that I've experienced positively by physical fitness, and now by even cleaning up even more my intake. I started going vegan, vegetarian, beginning of this year. I was already eating healthy prior to that, and I was in good physical shape. But when I shift into vegan and I fully cut down fish, even chicken, I wasn't eating much meat as far as red meat, but I was eating fish, chicken, and a turkey. But I removed all of that. Man, it changed even my lifestyle even more. And I won't go back because I feel the best I've ever felt. And it's been the best experiences in so many areas of my life that I'm just excited to see what the future holds in my body, in my mind, my soul, and everything, because I feel the best I've ever felt at 40 years of age.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So you went vegan. When was this? So you went vegetarian first, and then you went to vegan eventually.
Well, I went vegan.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess how quickly did you see results? Like when did you start feeling better? Was this
within the first 3 weeks?
No way. That
first
fast,
2 weeks,
huh?
I was physically weak.
Okay.
I felt it. My body felt it. I was weak. I wasn't performing in the gym to the way I usually perform. But after those 3 weeks, my body started adjusting, and then my body started, just feeling better. I started becoming stronger in the gym, and I started just feeling it in so many different areas of my life.
Wow.
That I started noticing, from better humor, like better attitude, was more patient, just more focused, even more loving.
Wow.
So many areas, man, that I was like, man, this is really good for me. I feel the difference. I was running more. I was lifting more. I just had a better attitude towards life overall, and it's been a beautiful experience that I am experiencing, and obviously I've been sharing it with so many other people, because since I'm getting so much from it, it is my responsibility to share it with others. Yeah.
Wow. 3 weeks. That's actually relatively fast to see improvement.
I did. It was pretty fast. And when I started noticing the difference, I wanted more of that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you're not the first person to tell me, because I train in the morning at Self-Made in Chino Hills. And one of the trainers said within 2 weeks, he saw day and night difference.
Yeah.
So I know it's a trend, which I guess would get me then to my question. So it's for the viewers or listeners. Physical health is, most people say it's 2 branches, right? Diet and exercise.
Correct.
And we sort of touched up on a little bit of both right now. What would be your suggestion, maybe even to an older, to a younger Ricardo? What would be your first suggestion to someone who's saying, you know what, I want to get my physical health back on track? Because they might be killing it in business. I know plenty of people that do, but unfortunately they haven't got their physical self together yet. And I know they will, because they have that discipline.
It's a process.
Yeah.
That happened to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would your suggestion be for their first step? Should they be going changing foods out first? Like, is it fast food they should cut first? What would your advice to them?
My advice is the intake first.
Okay.
Because a lot of times we want to start with the physical, and I know it's hard to start doing exercise if your intake is bad.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because your physical body doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Because you're not putting the right thing into your body. So I think it'll be easier if you start changing your diet to get into, because see, what I've noticed is I did it the opposite. And when I mean the opposite, I started exercising and cleaning my eating a little bit afterwards, meaning within the process. But as I started seeing differences in my body, which was hard on me because obviously I was out of shape, I didn't used to exercise. So I started exercising, my body started feeling it. But then I started making adjustments on my intake, and one good discipline created the other good discipline. So one thing fed off of the other one. So eventually I got into the situation where I was doing both of them, obviously in a better way, which was more exercise, better intake. But if I was to give somebody an advice going back to my beginnings, I would start off by the intake first.
Eating
better, because you'll start feeling better. That means you're going to be easier to get into the gym because your body is going to react better to you based on the fact that now your intake and your eating standards are better.
Could you give us some specific examples? So I know a little bit of your diet because I've been to your home and I've seen what you've been eating, and you told me in a couple of conversations. What's some examples that you've replaced? So, for example, maybe you used to eat a certain item for breakfast, and now you eat this for breakfast.
Correct.
So could you give me a couple of examples of what you're doing?
Yeah. So I used to eat a lot of eggs and other stuff, obviously, that was out of the norm for me now. Right now, usually for my breakfast, it's either just an oatmeal.
Okay.
Usually I do an oatmeal and that's it.
Okay.
Just a small oatmeal. I drink my coffee, plenty of water.
Okay.
And that's kind of my breakfast.
That's big. The water.
Plenty of water.
I think so many people avoid the water and they don't realize that that's probably going to be your biggest step.
I think when you're trying to cut down and see, and see, this is what I use, okay? Because sometimes I get sidetracked on my eating. Sometimes I still get sidetracked. It's like on these 6 months that I've been doing vegan, have I been doing it perfectly? No, I've had my little fallouts. And how do I get back in? Is when I have those fallouts and I'm not being as disciplined as I should and I want to get back on track, water helps me a lot. Because it's when you start throwing something in my body, this is the way it is once I start intaking the wrong stuff, my body starts asking me for the same thing. So what happens is your stomach expands, right? Now it's harder to satisfy your stomach because you got to eat more because you gave it more when you got sidetracked. So in order for me to get back in line, I use water a lot, which I already drink a lot of water. But on those times where I'm trying to clean up my diet more, that I got sidetracked and I'm trying to get back in line, I drink a lot of water because it keeps me more satisfied. And eventually it helps me get my stomach back to norm where I can get back in motion as to my discipline on my intake. But water is always huge. Like for somebody that's starting right now and wants to get into a good eating habit, you're going to have to start obviously supplementing your meals, from what you're eating right now to a better meal. And obviously it's hard to go right away into it and go cold turkey and replace all of your day. What I would suggest is start by one meal, by one at a time. And then start drinking a lot of water so that you start obviously first cleaning up your gut, cleaning up your stomach, and eventually start making the adjustments to the second meal and then to the third meal. But you got to start obviously at least by replacing that first meal.
That's a great idea. I think that hits it on the nail, which is instead of trying to fix all 3 to 5 of your meals in one time,
it's hard, man. And that's why you got to start by something. You replace one meal.
Yeah.
Maybe your dinner, which I think it's probably the one that causes the most negative effect on us because we eat late, and we eat wrong, and then we sit on that late dinner all night, and then your body is not obviously working on it correctly, is not obviously doing its appropriate job.
Wow.
So the dinner, lots of water, and you could start off there until you start getting a little better and you start feeling a little bit better. Then you start replacing at some point maybe your lunch. and then supplement it with a better meal.
Wow. That's a huge takeaway, guys. So it's almost like you're Darren Hardying it, to be honest.
Yes,
You know,
thinking about that, it's
Yeah,
basically
it's almost
that's
like a
what it
compound
is.
effect,
Yeah.
right? You're taking small steps, replace.
What's the concept, right?
Yeah.
The concept is the compound effect, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times there's people that could do it cold turkey, but most of the people can't.
Yeah.
So you have to gradually start doing it. It's like a lot of times we think, right? The goal is so big that we never start because we get overwhelmed just by thinking, oh, that's really hard. And we never do anything about it. But if we start slowly making small adjustments within time, it's going to start making an impact positively on us. And then we start making more adjustments. That's the way I did it.
Yeah.
That's the way I did it. And it has worked for me. That's why I can share it now, because it's been my experience.
It's manifested for you.
Yeah, because I've always struggled with weight ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was a kid, I've always used to struggle with weight. And it was because of intake. I was always a very active kid, but I've always struggled with weight. So I think I got at 40 years of age, after 40 years of age, Seth, I think I got to a point where I finally figured it out. But see, think about it, 40 years, right? And it's hopefully it's hope for some of you guys that have been struggling with intake or with food or with weight, that I've struggled for 40 years. And I finally feel that I got to a point where I have figured out. I still have my flaws, but I get back quicker, back into my rhythm, and I can train my mind and my body because I've been going through failures and successes along the process, that every time I'm getting better at it. Wow. So I'm at 40 today, man, and I feel the best I've ever felt in so many aspects. But I'm excited what the next 10 years is bringing in all aspects of my life.
Wow.
Physically, mentally, spiritually, and in so many things, man, that I'm just excited because I feel I'm at my best at 40, and I'm excited because I wanna keep going where I'm going, and I'm excited.
Wow. Well, I said we're almost out of time. I think that's a great way to end it. At 40, you're feeling the best you've ever in your life.
I am, man. I am.
Again, awesome episode. I think this is probably one of our best we've done. Maybe this is the best episode I've seen. I've got so much knowledge from this episode, so I can't wait for it to go out. Again, you guys, thanks so much for listening, watching. We would love your feedback, comments. Heck, it means the world to us.
It's been a pleasure. I think we went very deep.
Yeah.
It went a little bit more than I anticipated, but it was very fun to share all that, because I think that it really went deep, and I love sharing all that stuff. So please leave us your comments. Anything else you want to discuss, please send us your feedback, positive, negative. We'd love to hear it, and hopefully comment back on that so we can prepare for our next episode.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.